from Irish Podcast Network, otherwise known as IPN. If you have been listening to our podcast over the past number of months, we thank you greatly. We cover everything in the world of video games, movies, television and football. But today I bring to you, the listener, viewer, whatever, YouTube land, the announcement of irishpodcastnetwork.com. Just open up your little web browser thing and type it in, irishpodcastnetwork.com. This is now the place to find all the latest news, opinion pieces, videos and podcasts in the world of video games, football and movies. So I suppose starting off and telling you a bit about our video games section of the website. First of all, video games. We cover everything that you need to know. And of course our podcast, The Games Room, which is hosted by myself, by Adam Carroll and by Dexter Colm. We review all the latest games in our own special way. We have very special segments like Ask and You Shall Receive, where I talk to somebody in the industry. Adam Carroll has his own one called Thank You for the Music, where Adam looks at kind of particular music from video games, and Dexter has his own one which is called Games That Should Exist But Don't, and he just basically clues in the name. And of course we will be going forward. IrishPodcastNetwork.com will be the place to be for all your news and everything you need to know on video games. Which brings me on to football. And of course our football podcast is hosted by Stephen Toomey, John O'Sullivan and Aaron Roberts. And that again is the place to be. Stephen Toomey has his own special segment called Arse of the Week, where he looks at an arse of that particular week. And John O'Sullivan has his own, Getting Bling with John O'Sullivan, where John O'Sullivan will make you a very rich man, and Aaron Roberts takes you around the world in 90 seconds. And of course in IrishPodcastNetwork.com we are, of course, Irish, but we show no passionless, if that is a word, to anybody, because we have fans from all around the globe, so rivals and stuff. So that's our football section. Of course, IrishPodcastNetwork.com, the place to be for everything you need to know about football, which brings me on to the movie section of the podcast, or of the website I should say, where again, everything you need to know. And our podcast, Mostly Movies, is hosted by Andrew Knowles and Michael Hines, where they kind of in their own unique way look at the world and that past week in movies. Andrew Knowles has his own, and Michael Hines have their own little segments on this show, like Cult Classic, where they look at kind of maybe a forgotten great from movies past. And also they have The Dump, where they put a movie or a television show or a character or an actor or whatever, and they kind of put him into the dump because that's the only place it belongs. So with that, that's our movies. And I have a few more t-shirts to get through. And I wish I did this. Just keep recording,
Jesus Christ.
So that's IrishPodcastNetwork.com. And it is the only website you should bookmark, favourite, whatever type of lingo there is for all these newfangled shit. So please do join me and all the rest of Irish Podcast Network in this new revolution that is IPN and IrishPodcastNetwork.com. Listen, watch,